Kilimanjaro Neo wasn't just any city. It was a place of dreams, a shining gem in East Africa, where modern skyscrapers stood alongside riverside markets, and technology wove itself into the very roots of the land. Here, ancient wisdom met futuristic innovation in the most remarkable way. Towers rose high into the sky, their exteriors glistening with solar panels inspired by African tribal patterns, while quiet drones moved between them, delivering goods across the city. It was a city built on the future but held steady by its past. One such visitor was a young man named Enzi, who had come to Kilimanjaro Neo with a heart full of dreams. But today, in the rush of the city, he would learn a lesson that no technology could teach. Enzi had traveled for days to get to Kilimanjaro Neo. His home was a small village in the East African waterlands, nestled along a river where the soil was rich and green. Life there was simple, filled with warm evenings around fires and quiet mornings by the water. Years ago, a landslide had changed Enzi's life. A fierce storm had loosened the hillside, and the earth had swept him away in a rush of mud and stone. When he awoke in his mother's arms, he realized he'd lost his leg. But his family and village lifted him up, helping him find new ways to be strong. Later, a charitable group visited the region and donated a basic prosthetic leg, an early model, simple but effective enough for him to walk and work. Over time, he'd grown used to it, but as he traveled, the miles took their toll. Now, in the middle of Kilimanjaro Neo's busy city square, his leg gave out. As he took a step onto the city's gleaming tiles, he felt a sudden jolt. His prosthetic leg froze, its soft red light dimming as it ran out of power. Without its support, Enzi stumbled to the ground, his bag spilling onto the pavement. He felt a rush of embarrassment. "Please, could someone help me? My leg, it's broken," he called out, voice quivering slightly. A wave of worry washed over him. All the savings he'd used to come here, the expectations of his family, the dreams he held in his heart. Everything felt too heavy now as he sat alone on the crowded city floor. First, a businesswoman in a sleek silver suit, her AI assistant projected beside her, noticed him. The assistant gave a reminder in a calm, robotic tone. "Madam Takara, you are scheduled for a conference in 10 minutes. The businesswoman spared him a quick, distracted glance. "Oh, sorry, I'm in a rush, but I hope someone else can help you," she murmured, rushing past. Then came a police drone hovering close as it scanned his leg with a faint blue light. "Public disturbance detected. Please proceed to the nearest assistance kiosk," it intoned before zooming away. Finally, a young tech engineer noticed Enzi's struggling leg. Enzi's face brightened with hope, thinking that maybe this young man could help. "Hi, could you help me? My leg just gave out, and I don't know how to fix it," Enzi said. The engineer shrugged, adjusting his augmented reality glasses. "Yours is an old model. I work with the newer series. Try the repair kiosks. They're probably better equipped," he replied, walking off without another glance. Enzi felt his hope dim, like the fading light on his prosthetic. Kilimanjaro Neo was supposed to be the place where everything changed for him. But right now he felt more alone than ever. Just as he was ready to give up, he saw a figure approaching. A tall, elderly man with a small, weathered satchel slung over his shoulder. His clothes were simple, but adorned with delicate beadwork and patterns unique to the Ga people of Ghana, known for their wisdom and ancient ways. A small wooden pendant, carved in the shape of the sun, hung around his neck. Mr. Addo came from a distant land, a place many viewed with curiosity for its traditional knowledge and craftsmanship. The people of Kilimanjaro Neo saw him as a man from an older world, someone with tools and wisdom different from the fast-paced technology around them. The man crouched down beside Enzi, his eyes full of warmth and understanding. "Having a bit of trouble, are we?" he asked, his voice a soothing balm against the bustling sounds around them. Enzi hesitated, looking at the man. He recognized the symbols of the Ga tribe, and he remembered stories of old misunderstandings and differences between their people. Growing up, his family spoke of those from the far west as different, with customs that didn't fit with his own. But as he looked into the man's patient eyes, he felt his wariness melt away. "Yes, my leg stopped working and no one will help. They say it's outdated," he replied, feeling a mixture of frustration and relief. The man, Mr. Addo, smiled gently, his face wrinkling with kindness. "Sometimes it's not about how new or advanced something is, but the care that goes into it. May I take a look?" As Mr. Addo opened his satchel, Enzi noticed the pendant around his neck, carved with intricate symbols of the Ga. Mr. Addo touched it fondly, noticing Enzi's gaze. "This was carved by my father, you know," he said, holding it up. "He told me that even when the world moves forward, the light we carry from those who came before us will guide us. This pendant reminds me to be patient, to listen, to help." Mr. Addo took a breath, then handed the pendant to Enzi. "Hold it for a moment. You'll feel it. It's not just wood, but a history of kindness. Sometimes, son, the things that keep us steady are the ones closest to the heart, not the machines around us." With practiced hands, Mr. Addo began carefully inspecting the prosthetic. Each movement was slow and steady, like he was mending something far more delicate. As he worked, he continued speaking, sharing pieces of his life, his struggles, and his beliefs. "You know, where I'm from, we didn't grow up with drones or holograms. We used what we had, and what we didn't have, we made. We helped each other, not because we had to, but because it was right. That's how our communities grew strong." Enzi nodded, feeling his earlier frustration replaced by a quiet calm. "I thought this city would be everything, but now I feel like I'm just lost, like I don't belong here." Mr. Addo nodded knowingly. "It's easy to feel that way here. The city moves fast, and it's easy to forget the things that truly matter. But remember, it's not where you are that defines you. It's the way you walk your path, no matter how broken." After careful adjustments, Mr. Addo made the last connection, and Enzi's prosthetic leg flickered back to life. Slowly he stood, testing the leg, and a wave of gratitude filled his heart. "Thank you, Mr. Addo. I don't have the words," he said, emotion welling up in his voice. Mr. Addo placed a gentle hand on Enzi's shoulder. "Kindness needs no repayment, my son. Just promise that when you see someone in need, you'll stop, no matter who they are. That's the way we keep the light alive." At that moment, Enzi remembered a story he had once heard, a story from the Bible, from the book of Luke. It was the story of the Good Samaritan. Just like him, a man in the story was left on the road, needing help. Others, people who should have stopped, passed him by. But the one who did stop was a stranger, someone from a different place, just like Mr. Addo had been for Enzi. In the words of the Bible from Luke 10:33-34, "But a Samaritan, as he journeyed, came to where he was, and when he saw him, he had compassion. He went to him and bound up his wounds, pouring on oil and wine." Just as the Samaritan saw someone in need and helped, Mr. Addo had shown kindness to Enzi, even though they were from different lands. Mr. Addo had become like the Good Samaritan, teaching Enzi that true kindness is shown not to those who are like us, but to anyone in need. And Enzi knew that one day he would pass that kindness on. helping others as he had been helped.